had some technical issues, but we're on and we're live. Always remember to go, if you're on Facebook, just bash the thumbs up and the hearts for our special guests to give them, to give them a good pump up to come on the show. And also go to the Graham Solomon Thunder from Downunder YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when we go live. Now, I've got a special guest who's been on before, but he's I used to call him the Mr. T of Cleveland, but now he's actually moved to New York. So he's in the Big Apple at the moment. So we've got him back on, see what he's up to, see what he's been doing. And it is Jameel Lockhart, the Gorilla CEO, and now of Magnus Primate Holdings. So, Jamal, always a pleasure to catch up with you and have a chat with you, mate.
Same here, man. You see me smile. It's been a long time. And let's give a quick shout out. Brett, I'm going to bust you up, man. Your boy told me to say that. So I told you, your boy told me to say that. But thank you for digging me all the way on Australia. I appreciate you, man. I don't call you fan, I call you friend. So anybody that's my friend in another part of the world, like my man Graham, I appreciate you. So I appreciate you watching me and appreciate what I got, man. So big shout to Brett.
Brett's an Australian fan of yours. He and see, this is the thing. It's a real estate show, but we talk real estate, we talk what's happening. But the thing is, you meet characters like yourself along the way, for me anyway, who are verging on celebrity. You do all sorts of things, and we'll talk about that in the podcast. You do, you got comic strips, you've got clothing, you got the threads, you got everything. You're a hustler, you're an entrepreneur, and this is the thing. Brett watched the last one and he said, "Oh, I love that guy. Get him back on." And that's the thing. The real estate space is full of people that are not just entrepreneurial, but they're very creative people across a lot of fields, and that's who you are. So, do you want to just tell us now? You're in New York now. What have you been up to? It's probably been well over a year and a half.
It's been a lot, man. It's been a lot since the last time we talked. The name changed. When Graham me first linked up, we was in a group called Investor Syndicate. Big shout out to all them guys, Ben, all them guys at Investor Syndicate. But it was like my evolution.
Yeah, Ben Lovro and all the crew there.
Yeah. It was my evolution. So it used to be Gorillapreneur Strategic Real Estate Investment. Now it's Magnus Primate Holders, and the reason being, the name had to change for banking reasons. So I can get stuff from banks and S-corped up and things like that. And we have 3 DBAs doing business as LLCs under us, which is Gorilla Beats, GWO Comics, and Magnus Prime AI. That's our AI marketing and consulting firm. So we're doing a lot in the space. But the one thing I think me and Graham know, you start at one place, right? And whatever happens, good or bad, and then you learn as you go. Like nobody taught either one of us this. We kind of learned as we went. You watch the mentors, you watch the guy that's doing it, and you try to replicate it. And sometimes it always doesn't work out that way because you always got to have your own path of how you're going. So the first thing, like with GWO Comics and Gorilla Beats, I got tired of getting copyright strikes. You know what I'm saying? So I started creating my own material, my own music, my own marketing. So I started doing things in the space where I didn't have to rely on other people's content. So all my content is owned by me. It's made by me. It's designed by us, which puts us in a larger space of control. It makes our hope he with me. I think I might have lost him. Hope he's still with me. But
here he is.
We lost for a sec.
We're back. We're back. I just said to the audience, I said, it's probably the only time you hear Jamal not talking or Graham not talking when we're frozen up. That's the only time.
It's all good. I kept going. I just kept going. Well, for us, man, it was evolution of changing, getting in a space where our network is larger now. I was already worldwide, but we got stuff going on in Dubai. We got stuff going on in South Africa, Nigeria, Rwanda. Big shout out to Thandi, my liaison out there in South Africa. So we got some big things going on. And it all just became for me changing and still being seen. I think that's the one thing that remained the same from the last time we talked. I've always been able to be seen no matter what I'm doing. People see what I'm doing. And it's been a feather in my cap. I've done some cool stuff and I'm gonna keep going. I got a long way to go, but I'm getting where I need to be.
Yeah, and we were talking probably about a week or two ago, Jamal, and you were saying, like obviously we're single family homes, all that sort of stuff, going back a couple of years, but you've transitioned across now into land, and that seems to be a bit of a trend too. I see a few people doing that, heading across the land. Is that because there's a bit of a shortage of housing, so the builders they're doing new land, and builders are starting to build new new properties. Is that the case in the States?
For me, land is all land anywhere where you are. If you get a piece of land, that's a good thing so far as your own personal portfolio. But the reason we got the land, it was less emotion, it was bigger checks. It was way bigger checks. So we got into that. We got some big deal. Big shout out to Jamar Mills, the solution, my partner. I hope you can get him on, Graham, because Jamar got a lot.
Yeah,
I hope
we'll get him
on
on
to have him on so you can talk to you. Jamar got a lot on the cap. But that's my partner, official partnership between me and Jamar. So you got the Gorilla CEO and you got the solution, Jamar Mills. So we teamed up. And me and Jamar have been working for years together. Like, he always watched what I was doing. I always watched what he was doing. But we just kind of made it up. Look, let's just get together and make something happen. And it's been the best thing that could have happened to me. But land, especially where we at in Texas, we got one we're working on right now in Luling, Texas, 183 acres, 25K acre in Luling, Texas. But it's near the Central Texas pipeline. So from Austin to Gonzales, we chopping everything up down that way. We got about 12 parcels. We got to chop up. We were one of the largest brokers in Texas. Where I can't mention them on the air, but one of the largest brokers in Texas. Big shout out to Amanda Hines that's running front for us. That's our quarterback down. Excuse me, Amanda Rhodes that's down there in Texas and Austin working up front for us. So one thing I tell everybody, networking pays off. And I met Amanda on LinkedIn just by saying happy birthday. Her birthday popped up. I sent her a birthday. Everybody I like a birthday message, and I sent her a birthday message, and she said, wow, that was a way to make a first impression, and I wasn't really going for that. I'm just saying happy birthday. But I saw she was in Texas, and I asked her some questions about what's hot in Texas and where should I start looking. And she gave me a play that I can stay in that market for the next 7 to 10 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
got
awesome.
A market.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned there about networking and that was where we met, with big networks like with Investor Syndicate and other big, companies like that where you get to meet a lot of people.
Yeah, man.
And we the last time you're in, that was a big topic that we talked about and discussed and encouraged people to do. But, like you said, that's led you to the next place, the next point of business, because we're in 2025. Things have changed. And, from pre-COVID, COVID, post-COVID, and then there was a bit of everyone was expecting things to fall over. And they've kept going, and now we're in 2025. So you've got to reinvent yourself, don't you, Jamal? You've got to keep reinventing yourself.
You do.
You've got to stay within the network of the real estate space in the States, because there's a lot of people that have been in it a long time. They know how it works, and you've got to draw upon the knowledge of other people as well, don't you? And
you do. If you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, that's
right. One in the room, you're in the wrong room. You want to always be around people that's smart and people that's you want to be around the doers. A guy can talk all day. You want to be around people that's closing. You want to be around people that's really in the space. And Jamar told me something about this. We do stuff on our deals now called cultural analysis. We went through AI. We went through ChatGPT, a couple of things. So what we did was we started targeting who we were looking for. And I didn't understand that in the beginning. You make an ad, you put it up, hope people watch it. So now we actually culturally analyze what markets we in, who are the type of people that live there, what are their habits, are they truck drivers, are they motorcycle riders, whatever it may be. So what I do is when I make any type of video, and I got another company called Gorilla Mini Film. We'll DBA that soon. But with Gorilla Mini Films, I was actually trying to make mini films, but I was doing advertising with it, and it really hit. If you ain't using it, VO3. If you ain't using it, VEO3. Make your videos that could talk. A lot of cool stuff going on in the space. And like Grant could tell you, I was messing with AI before it was called AI. I was doing that stuff beforehand. But like to me now, it was like a duck to water with me. AI was like a duck to water. I got it really quickly. I use it well. And if you're a smaller entity like I am, I'm larger now, but bigger than when I was. If your AI can help you so much, it can automate tasks, it can reach information. And when I tell everybody, when you want a ChatGPT or any type of GTP system or LLM system, you can't speak to it like you speak to Google. Like if I'm doing a real estate thing, let's say this: act as my expert analysis on land. Give me you give it a role. You have to give AI a role, and that way when you prompt it, the prompts come out and it really does what you ask it to do. If you ask it a general question, you're going to get a general answer. When you dig with AI, it gets you the things that you may not understand. Like in a couple of years, we're going to put an Airbnb in the backyard of this property. So I asked, was it legal? What do I have to do? And it gave me all the instructions for the town that I was in. Now I saved myself a bunch of time. I take my notes, I go on down to the planning commission, I get the proper permits, do what I got to do, and I can Airbnb in the back of my house. So you have to get the information right.
Well, I reckon I've already booked you your first guest. Your first guest. I just had a message come through from Brett, and he said that Jamal rocks. He rocks. So there you go. You've already got your first guest. You guys can head down to Times Square.
Good day, mate. Good day, mate. Over there, man.
Yeah. No, he's
I appreciate you, man.
He's a massive fan. So we've already booked number one, number two. That's me as the second one. I'll come over as well. And no, that's good. See, that's exactly what you're talking about, Jamal. Like you have said, you've used AI for a period of time, especially with a lot of the graphics and all the stuff that you do with your cartoons and all that sort of stuff. So everyone realizes now that they have to use it. I mean, it can take. I've been experimenting with a few things with just basically putting a video in and getting it chopped up for shorts, for other social media, all that sort of stuff. And it just means that you're not outsourcing it to a VA anymore. You can just go and it's done. So it's going to be really good for the solopreneurs and the smaller businesses in the real estate space, isn't it?
Yeah. If you're a smaller business and you don't use it, you're really kidding yourself, because you can automate tasks. You can do so much. You can have appointments set. There's an app called Replit, Replit. It's an app called Replit. We did a website on that. No coding. All we do is we'll get the hosting. We put it up in about a day or so. So we made our own website. So the stuff that I was doing and was paying money for and breaking my back to do, you don't have to do that no more. Don't get me wrong. Anything free is going to be limited. So if you got a little money, you want to pay into it a little bit. Make sure you got your subscriptions right. If you're using ChatGPT, DALL-E, Midjourney, any of the art generators, if you're using that stuff. If you're using VEO3 or Kling or Hedra AI, I make my own music through Suno AI. So pay for them subscriptions. You can do a little bit on free. I was the king of free for a long time. But the one thing I realized, when you're a business, you have to invest in your business like you would invest in yourself. So invest in things that you can afford and find a way to make it fit what you're doing. That's the thing. A lot of people go AI and it's like, well, I don't know where it fits. You have to make it fit, but not like a square peg in a round hole. If you like art, go do that. So the thing, I think the thing with a lot of entrepreneurs is, that was my problem too. I was good at a lot of stuff, but I didn't master one thing. You know what I'm saying? So like, even in the real estate game, I was doing, shipping containers, and I was over here doing residential, and I was doing this because I tried to put it all into one basket. You can't do it like that. You master one thing. So land is my niche. I mean, don't get me wrong. Somebody called, they need, help on a wholesale. We'll work it out. But that's not where my energy goes. My energy goes for the bigger contracts. My energy goes for the bigger land. My energy goes to the network that I know is going to power me through to the next generation. That's just what I'm in.
It's an interesting thing, land. Like I have known people in the past that have just focused on land, and a lot of people international focus on land because there's not as many nuts and bolts and moving parts in land as what there is in, say, multifamily or single family. So I remember seeing a bit of stuff from Joe McCall, 4 or 5 years ago, where he started getting into land and sending out offers in letters and all that sort of stuff. So he was saying back then that he thought land was, for a smaller, solopreneur, an easier thing to do, and you could do direct mail, you could do all that sort of stuff. And
it's a lot easier, bro. It's a lot easier, less emotion attached to it. Some deals I've done, you ain't got to see it. You do some pictures back and forth. Like when you get into the bigger project, like me and Jamal on the 183, we got another one in Austin off Highway 1090, switching towns all the way off of Highway 1090, north of 1090. So 290, excuse me. And it's a lot easier because it's more targeted. It's more like with the hedge fund stuff. They would say, go get this, go get this, go get this, and then you bring it back. Oh no, that doesn't fit. But with land, you don't go through any of that. You don't go through any of that, especially if it's zoned properly. So you got to make sure you're zoned properly. You know what I'm saying? Your surveying, your topography, your mineral research, all that type of stuff. So it's more structured, but I think it's a cleaner point A to point B, so to speak. It's not all that stuff in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Once you get due diligence, a manager sent our letter of intent in, letter of interest, LOI, we sent that in. We got the PSA already. And it's not that we caught a little problems, right? But the general seller of the deal didn't want to give us everything on due diligence around the offer first. So, you can't make an offer on the property unless you got due diligence. But there's different hurdles you jump through in land, but it's more ways you can get through it a lot easier than residential. That's just my opinion. I think you're correct. There's less emotion and way less
working parts. So that's and
you don't got to deal with the sellers, and like we've done it all. You know, if you say you got a divorce, say, oh, I understand, you know, your husband, and you got to go through all of these emotional things.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you got a lady sell a house and she raised 5 kids there and the graduations, and that's an emotional attachment. With land, that's very few with emotional attachment. Unless you're dealing with a personal seller, then it's a little different. But with land, it's a lot easier on the heartstrings, so to speak.
Yeah,
you know what it is. A lot moving pieces, but if everybody does their part, it always goes through smoother than residential.
Well, the fact, like I said before, like I'd watched some stuff with Joe McCall a few years ago, and he'd actually just send out blind offers, offers, pump them out. So you can't just send out, or you can. I mean, I know people that have done direct mail stuff with houses with blind offers, but they're, you know, that's just to make contact. They're not actual proper offers. They know that they're over the price that they want to buy them for, and then they try and negotiate the people down. But it just seems to be that, like I said, people internationally seem to get drawn towards land because
you got so many ways you could do it. You know, you can go for smaller infill lots. You can go for just the infill lots where people just want to put homes. Like, that's a game between pretty much the seller and developers. So once you get the contract, you know, a developer, he's hunting in that area. Sometimes it's tough because some developers have backed up due to the tariffs and all that stuff. So the builders have slowed down. But it depends on where you at. Texas is on fire. The Southeast is always on fire. But then you got stuff in the Midwest that's good. You got more rural land right in the middle of the Midwest. That's a little bit of a different game, but it's still very, very profitable. Like it's an old saying: buy land, they ain't making it no more.
No, that's right. Just before I was going, I'll ask you further on that thing. I just wanted to say, you mentioned earlier about putting a square peg in a round hole. Now, I went to kindergarten with Brett, and he was guilty of doing stuff like that. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. So I took him under my wing, and he now has got, we call it the Ponderosa, where he's got like a mansion on top of, and he's got some land and that to chop up, which he's got a couple of titles there. So he's even doing it over in Australia. So I might get Brett under your mentorage to learn how to do it in the US.
Yeah, man. Brett's always welcome over here.
Because he started off a bit slow in kinder, and I took him under my wing, but now he's actually probably ready to start, and like a lot of Australians, is ready to start looking outside the country now. So that's, this podcast is not just, you know, for the US, it's for the Australians and internationals to be able to meet people like yourself, to make connections, jump in Facebook groups, make connections with people they see, and to be able to network and learn how to, because the US market's an amazing, probably the best real estate market in the world as far as I'm concerned. The stuff you can do over there is tenfold. I've spoke to people in Israel, people over in Australia. We can't do anything. We can't do wholesaling. We can't do any of this stuff.
Yeah. Go where you can work. Go where you can work. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
I'm always encouraging people in Australia who watch this to reach out, to jump in some Facebook groups. And I do know a few people who have done that. And now they're chopping up more land because they're looking to build more in the States. Jump in and do it. So
I'll give you a play. I'll give you a play on social media. I'll give you those social media play. Make LinkedIn part of your world. LinkedIn, you're talking to more elite. You know, at least I don't like really using that word, but it's just kind of true. You're talking to elites. If I'm looking for builders, I can talk to a vice president, you know, a director of management, director of marketing. It's so many different levels you can go down. So you can kind of pick and choose who you want to talk to. Like Amanda, she's a master in property management, but she was connected to the broker that got with us. So it made, like, that's what I'm saying. You can have a network where you know somebody that's connected to somebody that maybe you couldn't reach. So with LinkedIn, this is how they do it. Facebook, definitely for the groups, but even that, you got to be careful. Like me and Grandma, we've been on Facebook for a long time. So you have to know on Facebook exactly who you're talking to. You don't want to waste time with these fake wholesalers. You don't want to make time with fake buyers. And I try to tell them, especially when I was doing the wholesaling stuff, if you're not a buyer, just say so. We're going to find out anyway. You know what I'm saying? And we've been through a ton of them guys, right? You know, Graham, we've been through them guys all. You come in with a deal, you ain't analyzed it. I got to analyze it for you. 3-4 people on the deal, or it's a daisy chain. So with Facebook, you have to be more targeted. So I would say your play is Facebook for your groups, LinkedIn for your more elite connections, or the people that you really want to talk to, builders, developers, things of that nature. Or if you're just trying to look at another type of profession, you can do that as well on LinkedIn, something that may interest you. You got people to talk to. Fan base. And the reason I say fan base is you own your own content. You own your own. Everything you make, you own. When you put a post up on Facebook, you do not own it. Instagram, you do not own it. TikTok, you don't own it. With fan base, you own your content. So I say fan base for a new level of kind of growing on social media. Instagram is for influencers. So always remember that. Nobody cares. It's like you may got a few. Okay, if you see a lot of the realtor ads on Facebook, they kind of make it look like a party going on. You may see the house, they'll spin it. They have all types of cool graphics because they need to get your attention.
Yeah.
So remember, Instagram is for influencers. So know that. So if you come and hey, I'm Joe Blow and nobody wants to see that. You have to be an influencer on Instagram. So the thing I learned was they do the same job, but they're all different beasts. So you got to understand what beast you with. Okay, TikTok for me, TikTok is for fun. I may use some of the content, but I use let's put it this way. Like TikTok is that fishing hole that you go to that ain't got many fish, but every once in a while you catch a big one. So on TikTok, I'll shoot at realtors. If they got a realtor title, if they got a broker title, I'll put some content out to them. But TikTok is more for fun. I do have the TikTok shop. I am on the creative page. I've been there forever. I've been there about 4 years on TikTok. Yeah. But and it kind of grew from the lives I was doing. I had a live maybe about a year ago called Kicking in the Door at 4, where I came on every time at 4 o'clock, every day 4 o'clock. I had great guests on, chopped it up, and we did well. But TikTok is one of them that changes all the time. So you got to be careful about what you say, what you put up. So it's a little bit different. But I say my big two, Facebook so far as groups and some networking, but a lot of my major networking comes off of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
The main stuff.
And that makes sense with the land. Like you said, you're dealing with developers, you're dealing with builders, contractors, and that, they're all registered. It's a professional type atmosphere. So
and you can target it, Graham. You can, if I need him in Austin, Texas the builder is Austin. If I need a builder, Texas builder, San Antonio, I can target it. You can do it on Facebook, but it's not as streamlined. Because let's put it this way. Let's say if I put up give me a good one. Let's say give me a dispositions manager, land Texas, right? You'll get that, right? And I'll get San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, I'll get Commerce, I'll get all of them. So depending on where I'm hunting, I just put that in there or a zip code and you talk about 20, 30 people with one push of the button. So you have to understand. Don't get me wrong, everybody ain't gonna talk to you. But what I would do is I would have a structured DM. Hey, I'm Jamal Lockhart. This is what I do. I like to network with you, but maybe learn from you and be humble. When you just look, one thing I try to tell people, no matter how old you are, you can always lead with humility. Yeah, that's how I met Amanda, just by saying happy birthday. I wasn't even on trying to get nothing from her. I just wanted to say happy birthday to a person I saw on LinkedIn, and it led to something. Yeah. So always lead with kindness, always lead with humility. Like the old gorilla, and I was a nice guy. I was more kicking the door. Like I'm coming through, I'm getting in, and I made it about me. But as I evolved, you have to make it about others. In this business, trust me, if anybody listening, please take this down. The people that are of service going to be the millionaires and billionaires, helping other people solve a problem. If you're a problem solver, you always going to make money. Yeah. You always going to make money. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're a coach and you know how to dribble better than somebody. People want to learn that skill. So if you have a skill that puts you ahead of the others, for me, I've had a few, but I never honed them. Now I hone my skills. So people look for me now. And they looked for me before, but it was from more of an interest perspective. Now it's from the perspective, hey, that guy knows what he's doing. So it's an evolution for me, and I'm glad to be in the space now, man. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and the old saying, like a bull in a china shop. You used to be a gorilla in a china shop. You just go bustling through and that. Now
I did.
Now it's just all smooth sailing. You just
I did. You got to grow up.
Show a bit of humility.
If you're in the same space that you was in a year ago, and I'm going like a small time frame. If you didn't learn nothing from the year before, and you had all types of problems, and you had all types of things, and you're in the same space a year later, you didn't do something right in your evolution. So it was something that you were supposed to change to get you ahead. I don't care if it's mantra, meditating, getting up 4 in the morning, exercise. It was something you didn't put in that system to make you move forward. So I just discovered what it was. I didn't have to holler. I didn't have to scream. I didn't have to join everybody's group. So you learn these things. And like one thing I tell everybody, it's nothing wrong with community. Me and Graham have been in some great. There's nothing wrong with community. So I never want to make people think there's something wrong with community. But before you step in the community, have your stuff straight first. Have your direction, where you want to go, your goals, your dream. Have all of that stuff in line first. And then if you set, then when you come in, you got something to bring to the group. Like I think me, Graham, Jamar, we had gifts, but we hadn't honed our skills yet. We trying to help somebody who had their skills somewhat set, and it didn't work out because the two can't work out. If a person is here and they solid and you loose, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You got to be solid as well. So when the two fists come together, now you got a combination. That's how you got to do it. You can't come in half-assing. You can't come in. You got to know who you are. You got to know what your business is and what your stuff is all about. Then once you do, now you become dangerous. You become very dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's evolution.
We'll rewind back to what you're saying before. Like, obviously, Texas is a hot market for land.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Texas is moving and shaking. It has been with,
for years.
For years. What other places, say in the Midwest and that are really, really booming at the moment that are
okay? Let me get my files up for you, and I can do some stuff for you real quick.
We'll give the audience a couple of Thunderbolts, and they can.
I'll give it to you. I got you, man. I got you covered.
Right.
I got my system already. My system is Oasis. I've combined 4 GPTs in one. So it's Grok, it's GPT, ChatGPT, Claude, and DeepSeek. So I have 4 that give me constant information, and I can take from a lot of different sources. So far, the top markets, Texas is one. I would say Arizona is another one, but I'll give you the best ones right here. Top markets for land. And I always keep my stuff ready in case I come into situations like this. So
I'm glad.
I always come ready, man. I always come ready. But the top market for land right now, like I said, Texas is always going to be fire. Like I said, Central Texas, Austin, San Antonio corridor, which we already are there. Areas like Luling, Lockhart, Bastrop, and Buda, that's near the pipeline. So that area is also there. But the cases are for subdivisions. You have a lot of things called barn dominiums. Now, barn dominium, you can build on either agricultural land or residential land, so you don't get in trouble for nothing. So you got the barn dominium deals going on down there. Mobile home parks, always RV parks, big in Texas. Another one. This is kind of a change because everybody wanted stuff in Southern Florida, Central Florida, Central and North Florida now is buzzing. The influx of residents now, retirees, the snowbirds are coming back like from Canada. They're coming down, not as like they used to because they used to come to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Daytona. But now it's kind of more central to North Florida, areas like Ocala, Lakeland, Gainesville. We got a big one in Gainesville. We got 163. Big shout out to Miss Selena in Gainesville. We working on your stuff right now. It's an agricultural deal out in Gainesville. Jacksonville, on the outskirts of Jacksonville. Most cases there is like you got the manufactured homes, prefab homes there. You got the rural mini ranches. That's a big thing. Like when you be out in the sticks, instead of making a big ranch, they make these little tiny ranches. They put a good cabin on there. Maybe you got some chickens, you grow their own food, kind of like homesteaders, but not that 100% homesteader, just a little bit different off the grid stuff.
Yeah.
I'll give you one more. North Georgia, of course, the Atlanta exurbs. That's what they call them, the Atlanta exurbs. So it's not the suburbs, but it's more out on the sticks. In Georgia, you have Elijah, Blue Ridge, Jasper. So you don't hear the big towns like Atlanta. You don't hear the Savannah. You don't hear that stuff. A lot of that stuff is already taken up. So you have to look on the outskirts. A lot of that stuff on the outskirts that people can still drive to work, but then when they go home, they have the peace and the quiet of the exurb. So you got to do that. And of course, Arizona, the outer Phoenix ring, everything out of Phoenix is on fire right now.
Yeah.
So that's the hottest stuff right now on land right now.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's a couple little thunderbolts for the audience to check up if they're into land, just to check that out. And the other question I was going to ask is, you've moved over to New York. There's not much land left in Manhattan, so we can't talk about Manhattan. But what about the bigger states like East Coast, West Coast? Is there anything there, or are they pretty much done, or is there still?
No, it's never done. You just have to put it in a different jacket, so to speak. Colorado is always pretty big. Like, okay, out where I am, where I was in Ohio does big. Michigan does big, right? But if you look in the city, that stuff is different. Infill lots are always going to be a thing, no matter where you go. You talking about a little piece of land, a couple of acres where a house go. I tell everybody, if you got a house and you go 3 floors down, you see an empty plot of land, you should buy it because you can put another home there, Airbnb it. You can do whatever you want to do. Yeah. Infill lots are going to be in whatever state you in, so that's not a big deal. But when you're talking about certain types of land, agricultural, look in agricultural states, Florida, Arizona, you know what I'm saying? If you want a certain type of land, you have to go where that type of land is, depending on what you're looking for. Residential, there's a lot of residential stuff, but you see mobile home parks and RV parks. That was a niche that Jamar was in before I got into it. It's a huge niche, man. Yeah. Mobile home parks is a huge niche. And what's funny is you buy people that buy land just to put them on there. and then you buy the people that buy land and put a storage facility on it, right?
Yeah.
So what you're seeing more now, like when me and Graham kind of came in, people were looking for storage units. They wanted to buy the whole facility, the whole shebang. Now you got people that buy that land and they'll build it themselves.
Yeah.
They'll get a build and they'll put that type of structure on it. So you have different. See, the thing about land is it's all one pond, so to speak. But there's different hot spots. Well, I'm gonna do the residential thing. Well, I'm gonna do the commercial thing. I want to come over and do the barn dominiums, or I may want to do shipping container home. So you got a lot of different hot spots in these ponds that you could just fish out of until you find your groove. Okay, I'm gonna stick with residential. I'm gonna stick with commercial, whatever it is. But it's a lot of ways in land where you can find your groove a lot faster than residential, way faster.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. That gives us a bit of a breakdown of where it's at 2025 with land.
For sure.
Any shout outs you want to do? Is anyone out there you want to shout out to? Jamal, I know you
first of all, my guy Jamal, always, man, Jamal Mills, the solution, his beautiful wife, Portia Mills as well. My family, the whole Lockhart family, without blaming everybody, the whole Lockhart family. Sandy, Tamika G, Cicely, all the ladies in my stories. The whole TikTok nation, whole LinkedIn nation, Amanda Rose. I'll be here all day, man. But y'all know me. I love y'all. And I appreciate what you always done for me. Some of you have got me out of the darkest times I was in my life, Graham included. You know what I'm saying? I've been through, not on harp on that stuff. We all got to go through our stuff. Yeah. But the one thing I will say is have a network of people that goes beyond business. And a lot of people don't understand. I think me and Graham's friendship is the perfect example, I would say. Me and Graham met in a situation where we was just in a group, but we dug each other's energy, man. I like what that guy coming with. I like how he think. I like how he speaks. So find them people, that make you better, so to speak.
Yeah.
Find them people that can amplify you, so to speak. Like when you get excited when you're around them. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know, you get pumped up when you speak to them. And then if you should partner, that energy will just kind of cohesively come together. But and then, like, put it this way: if you working your ass off, your partner should be working his ass off too. That's the type of energy you need. Jamal like with the cultural analysis thing. I said that in the conversation. I didn't really even know I said it. So he was like, we said, back up. Jamal said, back up. What you say? I said, well, cultural analysis. He said, yeah, use that, right? So when I listened to him, it made so much sense because we're not targeting blind. We talk, because let's say if a person is from Luling, Texas, and I make that ad, and he sees the pickup trucks, and he sees the big land, and he sees what he's used to. That's targeting him. Hey man, this guy got that's going to draw people to you. Don't make ads about yourself. Make it about the business, and that's what I did in the beginning. Everything was guerrilla, everything, and it still is. But I don't put me first. I put the project first, and it makes it a lot easier that way. You know what I'm saying? I think my guy might have froze with, but hang on. I think Graham coming back. I'm gonna keep talking because my man might have froze. I'm gonna keep talking. Hopefully he can reboot it. But I appreciate Graham for just having me on, man. I've always been a big fan of his work. Y'all tune into the podcast because it's a great show. Hopefully he can come back, and we got a lot of good stuff. But I'm gonna wait right here till he come back, and we're gonna keep it rocking and rolling. But yeah, man. I appreciate y'all, Brett. If you need me for anything, just call me. I'm right here. I think my man will be back because I got the screen by myself, so I know my man will be back shortly. But tune into the Thunder from Down Under, man. A great podcast, a great guy. I got you, man. I kept it going. I got you.
Well, I kept it going too. So one of us is going to show up on the video.
But I appreciate you. I appreciate just having me on, man, and let me run my big mouth. I appreciate
you. No, I was just saying, I don't know who's going to come up, but I was just saying about your point about, like when we were at the Investor Syndicate, you had Ben, you had yourself, you had Baby G. There was a good energy. So even if you drift different ways and you go and do land and someone else is over, you've still got a friendship. You can still...
Yeah, that's what you need to do. Right? So whatever you're doing, it comes back together.
That's right. And then you can bounce ideas because you're in the same industry. So then you can trust that person. And I've got a few, you included, but a few people in the States that I really respect. They reach out to me when I had to drop out for a little while. I had some stuff going on. They reach out. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing to connect with other people. Like all this is virtual. I haven't been over and actually physically shaken hands and cuddled people and that yet. So look out when that happens. But you know what I mean? Like what I'm saying is you hit it on the head, and it's not just business only. You do you make some loyal contacts and some loyal friends.
Yeah. If you want to be doing business with somebody for years, you got to cultivate that.
Yeah.
You know, like Graham just said, we hadn't saw each other, but I just want to know if he was good. You know, like, let me call up, hey man, you good, man? You know, it like with the investor syndicate. And I think Ben taught us all the importance of community. That's the main thing I learned from Ben, was the importance of community. So like my thing is, even if something that it may go left, right? Still understand you got a lesson, and even though I went left, the one thing we learned is that we can network, we can pump each other up, we can get excited. But I think the thing that the individuals, not saying all of us, but I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
I wasn't solid in what I was doing. I was trying to build somebody else's dream. Build your dream first. Build your dream first, then you can help so many other people. Yeah. And we about to come into the greatest transfer of wealth. We got blockchain coming. We got Web3 coming. We got prop tech coming. I just learned that term from Dubai. Dubai is doing stuff in real estate that will blow people's mind. In America, trust me, we behind the times. They're doing stuff over there that's unheard of in Dubai, man. So I'm excited about that, because somebody see my talent and they say, "Hey, man, you should be working over here." So that's just something that big shout to Muhammad Ibrahim. Assalamu alaikum to him. And it was just an honor that and I did a whole video, had me flying in the chopper. I did a whole video of myself flying in a chopper. I had myself in a gold Ferrari, so we do some things that's fun, but we do it. I've always been razzle dazzle, but I do it to get your attention, just to get the eyes. Yeah. And then once I get the eyes, I hit you with the brain, so you can see what I'm really doing, and then I just put it out in the open. And you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But at least you saw it.
That's look, I'm the Thunder from Dubai. I'm liking this when we chopper it over there. Me and you, we go over to Dubai and hang out. It's actually an interesting point, because I was just randomly live come up the other day, about a week ago, with Zach and Rick Ginn, and they were talking about exactly the same thing about getting attention, how to draw attention. They were going through how, instead of just going, real estate, how to do stuff outside of the box to get more attention to your real estate space. So that's what you're talking about, and that's what you've been good at for a few years now.
If you had Zach and Ginn, you had to, because I had Zach. I never got the dad, but I had Zach on my show years ago. Them guys, they got their own lane. They affiliate, they got the affiliate stuff with all the people they're doing. But Zach and them, they were always seen from YouTube to Facebook. That's how I hit them. When I got him on my show, I just reached out to him. Hey, man, I see what you're doing. He see what I'm doing. Let's come together. He had the first debate with another wholesaler I've ever seen. He debated
Jerry Norton. Jerry Norton.
Jerry Norton. That's right. Jerry Norton debated him. And I thought he chewed him up. That's what I thought.
I reckon the Thunder from
chewed him up. I like
from Down Under.
Yeah.
We should have a debate night where I just get all the wholesalers and all the land guys and we'll just debate it all. But I remember that was which was unusual. We've never seen, maybe we need to expand, have debate nights or something. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Jerry Norton was one of the first people I ever saw.
Me too. My first contract came from him.
I love his content. Jerry Norton has been massive in the industry and an icon. And now Zach and Rick, Rick's been around for years, but they're becoming icons as well. And once again, they all put back out. I mean, this is something as an Australians don't do this half as much, not even a quarter as much as Americans. Free content, sharing, that reciprocity. We just don't do. We keep everything close over here, but
I did that too. But one thing I will say about the free stuff, you give a free offer that leads to a payoff. And I'm not saying you go try to make a bunch of money and fleece somebody, but I did that. Okay, I thought you gave it away to get in, right? Yeah. Okay, to quote the Joker, if you're good at something, never do it for free. Bottom line, never do. If you're good at what you do, never do it for free. Now, if you do something for someone in a way of networking, like I put Graham in the comic, stuff like that. Now, if they're my friends, I'll just do that because I'm feeling crazy. Let me put my boy in. But what I realized, even in that, when you're marketing, the goal of marketing is to a market for money. That's the goal of marketing. Yeah. So what you want to do, if you do something for free, it should lead to something else. We have my digital product is $27. It's doing pretty good. But what I do is I teach all the stuff that I did in AI to make myself what I was. But I put it in a framework where if you want to do it, you could do it too. So, and that's our AI intelligence course under Magnus Prime AI. But what I did was I started looking for ways just to make income, and like the real estate is cool. But remember, with land deals, you wait a longer amount of time. A land deal can go 3 to 6 months after due diligence. Yeah. You got to have that stuff lined up. So me and Jamar try to line one up every 30 days. So that's what we do. So we got one in April, and we got one in May. We got one in July. So we line it up so we always getting some type of money coming in. But you gotta have other forms of income. I don't care what you're doing. If you're great at what you do and you can slay it with one, knock it down. But you gotta have other stuff going. That's where the clothing came from and the comics came from. First of all, I didn't want to wear nobody's name on my butt no more. So I'd rather have my own name on my butt. So that's where the gear came from.
Well, that was going to be the thing I just finished up with was, and that's what I love about it. You got your clothing, you got your kicks, you got all this. And I've said to you many a time, when I come out, I want to be fitted out.
I got you. I already know the sneakers I want to get from
man. I just want to be fitted out.
Ones on you, man.
I've got a bucket list. I've got a few things like different people in different states, but that was the number one thing. I mean, that's just culture. That's culture. You probably call it street culture from where you come up and everything, and you've got.
Something. I'm too old to call it street culture because these young kids, they got a whole new thing.
Well, that's right.
Remember when I was coming up in, like baggy jeans was in. Then they got the tight jeans. Now baggy jeans is in again. So the time just changes. But I get the OG, I get the big I get all that stuff because I am hip hop. I'm from the the golden days of hip hop, so I still get that.
Yeah.
So like on the street, I've never had a problem with the young people. It's something maybe they see in me, or maybe I'm the cool grandpa or whatever. If they see that type of style in me. I'm into hip hop. I used to rhyme when I was younger. So I think with me, I'm a face that look at that. This is what I'll say. A lot of younger people won't approach you unless they see some of them in you. Yeah. So a lot of them see, I still rock chains sometimes, so they see some of their stuff in me. And I've never had that issue where a kid disrespected me or I'm too old or whatever. Like if I see somebody walking with some Jordans, I can say, hey man, good pair of Jordan 3s, I like that. Good pair of Jordan 12 Space Jams, I like those. So I can actually talk the culture with them.
That's
so
right. Yeah.
It comes a little bit different, but we got to learn from them too, y'all.
That's you being connected to your community. I mean, I remember doing a FaceTime with you probably about 2 years ago, 2.5, and you said I'll talk to you, and you're going into a homeless shelter trying to serve food and that. I mean, these are the things about being in a community. You said I've had hard times with people that help me, so I put back into the community. Yeah. And that's and that also goes with the youth, with youth is to put back into the community.
It does.
They probably associate with you because you got good kicks and you got all your own gear on, and they're saying like, "Oh, this guy's cool."
It's a little different. I think I ring bells a little different with the young people. Man, I wish I could get the hat, but I don't want to leave the camera. I just had a hat design, for my man Cousin B. Cousin B Customs, man. Look my guy up on TikTok. And he made me my own hat. So I actually have a fedora that got a cap brim. So it's called a capdora. It's one of I only want to put it on until I get the whole outfit. I get the new kicks on it and everything. I only want to put it on. But like just stuff like that where people appreciate your talent. And I think I'm at that stage now where people look at me now and they appreciate what I do. Before it was more like, look at him. But now it's like, wow, look at him. It's a little bit different now. So I wish that for everybody that's in business that you had that time. To take something from Jay-Z, that moment of clarity. That moment of clarity where I've done everything I was supposed to do. And I'm not sure about you, Graham, but I was always the guy that I did the work, I would go back and check it again and kind of obsess over it. Like once you got it done and the numbers is right, you've done your analysis. Once you've done everything you had to do, leave it. Go enjoy time with your family, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever you got. Kiss your kids, play with the dog. All of that type of stuff, because we can get into this business so much we forget what's important. And your family always going to be there. The business will too, to a certain extent. But I don't want to say work-life balance because there really is none. But you kind of have to have a personal balance where, hey, I did my work. I'm going to spend time with my family. I'm going to sit down and rest.
Stop and smell the roses every now and then.
You smell. You got to, man. You can't just go hard all the time. I only got Louis Vuitton in my eyes.
We're hitting time. Jamal, before I thank you for coming on, I just want you to do a final outro to Brett in Baronia down there.
Brett, first of all, my friend Brett, I haven't met you. Let Graham, give him all my information. You can contact me whenever you want. I appreciate having a brother from over there with my brother here in Australia that appreciates my talent. And I had to laugh, just made me smile. I said, man, you got a fan over here. So, Brett, I appreciate you. To everybody that knew me when I was Guerrillapreneur, to everybody that knows me now as Magnus Primary Holders, I thank you for making the ride pleasant. I thank you for making the ride memorable. I really do. For all the people that I learned from, all the people that shared with me especially in my dark times, that really kept me going. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all there you go, Brett. I appreciate you, Brett Collins up there. I appreciate you, man. I see you co-comment right there. But you know, from the Gorilla CEO Jamal Lockhart, I love y'all. Come through, check my stuff. If you ever need me for things, you know, I'm connected all over this. I'm all over the world. I'm connected all over the world. So in that I take pride, because I know in this time, sometimes people of Graham's color and people of my color, we don't get along. And that's really a silly thing when you come to look at it. It's silly. If we stop looking at what's different, we can focus on what's the same.
Yeah.
So stop doing that. Look, I'm not for, I'm not against. I'm a capitalist. So I'm working on this money game. You know what I'm saying? I don't worry about who's in office. And it may sound stupid, but I can care less. That ain't gonna got nothing to do with my bank account. We have to learn to maneuver in whatever government is. I don't care what country you in. We got to learn to maneuver. We got to learn to stand with each other. You know, like I said, there's a lot more of us that are the same than different. And the people that want to be different, leave them on that island. Find the people in your business, in your network, and what you're doing that think like you. No matter what color they are, no matter what creed they are, no matter what religion they are. Find people that think like you.
Yeah.
And once you do that, it's going to open up. And remember, the man upstairs got a timing for everything.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're rich, I don't care if you're poor. But you got to be in alignment. You got to be, I've done the hard work. I'm a good person. I'm grateful. And part of making this wealth is being grateful.
Yeah.
So be grateful for what you got. Be grateful for and what's in your life, be grateful for too. But the things that you ain't supposed to have, be grateful that it's not happening to you. That you sit, you can walk, you can talk. You know what I'm saying? Be grateful. Be grateful. Thank the Creator and get your stuff in alignment. Then when it's in alignment, it all opens up for you.
Yep.
I swear it do. It all opens up. So if anything I can say to just get up out of here, man, I love y'all. And thank you for making me matter in your lives and just watching you and sharing the things I've shared over the years. And I appreciate everybody that's ever gave me a thumbs up, thumbs down, a nice comment, nasty comment. I appreciate it because you helped me in my development. So I appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, Jamal, thanks for coming in. Everyone just check the screen out. We've got the email there, which is magnusprime81@gmail.com.
Email, that's the regular.
Jamal.
Just
send him an email. You can see him on social media. Just check him out on social media.
Yeah, come on through Facebook, same name. TikTok, same name. Magnus Prime Holders on TikTok.
Yeah.
Jamal Lockhart on Instagram. Just come through. Holla at you, boy. Trust me, if you look me up, you're gonna find me.
Yeah.
Look me up, you'll find me.
No worries. All right, guys. Thanks, Jamal, for coming in. It's always great talking to you. And I'll just sign off to the audience and especially Brett from Baronia, who's the number one ticket holder in the Jamal Lockhart fan club now. He's taken that off me, and he'll be probably harassing you now.
That's all right.
Trying to send you land deals and all sorts of stuff. So thanks for coming on, Jamal. Have a great weekend, and it's always a pleasure, mate, talking to you. And
I love you, man.
Keep tearing it up out there.
Are we gonna get Graham? We're gonna have Graham a day in New York with them sneakers. We're gonna get him on there.
Yep.
Have him pimped out in New York.
That's a whole YouTube series. That me with Jamal in New York. Absolutely. All right, mate.
Good,
thanks for coming on. Catch you later.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you.
See you.